Welcome back. I actually have good news. Or not good news. I have exciting news. Got a job offer at Tesla, so boom, that's gonna be fun. B, I got a roommate, so that's gonna help with saving money. Don't really need a roommate here, but it's gonna help me out, and who moved in is in a tight situation too, so it's gonna help him out. So I'm really excited about that because I'm all about helping people if I can. But what we have going on today is we're gonna pull the head off of the Honda. Now it's currently like 5 o'clock, a little after 5 o'clock. I've been working all day. I'm kind of tired, and it's freaking hot. It's summer. It's summer in Texas. It's gonna be hot. So I'm gonna have all my fans going. I have one going right now that I'm not even standing in front of. And with that going on, it gets really loud in here. And I'm gonna turn my air compressor on. I'm actually gonna need my air for testing the block when we do that here in a second. If you're watching this video to learn how to disassemble your head from your H22 or Honda motor or whatever, this is not that video. I've already gone through more than half the steps. What I'm doing here is I'm showing the more technical stuff. So we're back to the timing, and I'm going to show you how I disassemble the gears before taking off the belt and everything like that, because I want to leave this motor in top dead center when I pull the head off. So when I put everything back on, all the woodruff keys, everything like that line up for the gears, and I could slap it back together, and I won't even really have to worry about anything as far as timing goes. And this video is also, I'm going to show you what to check for in our current situation with. If you've seen my shorts, if you're watching my shorts, I posted a couple showing we have low compression in cylinder 2. We got to find out why though. Also, I'm going to be opening up my website again. And with me opening up my website, I'm going to be dropping obviously new t-shirts, because I still wear my old ones, but they're like work shirts now. Like, these are shirts I don't care about getting dirty, which is why I still wear them in all these videos. But I'm going to need some new drip. So the mascot now of the channel is my dog. What I want from you guys is to comment below of like some ideas. Now I'm thinking my dog in a Sparko jumpsuit or something like that. I have a few ideas of my own, but I'd like to full send on this thing. So any and all ideas that you think would resonate with the channel, post them in the comments below. All right, so I'm just getting the bolts on the cam gears loose. I'm just cracking them loose right here. I struggle with it for a little bit. I have a ratchet on the crank bolt to hold it in place since I'm working alone, and I was just turning it until it kind of locked against the brake caliper on the bottom there, and I couldn't really do it with this small ratchet I have and beating it with my hand, so I grab a hammer because I don't have a longer ratchet right now, not yet, and I'm using the shock of the blows at the end of the handle to create leverage to help me crack the bolt loose, which I get right about here, I believe. And then afterwards, I'm just gonna reset it back to top dead center, and once it's back to top dead center, I'm gonna take the belt off, and then I'm gonna unscrew the bolts, the cam bolts, and then take the cam gears off. Now, I'd like to use this time to kind of make a disclaimer. One thing I say in this video is I talk not smack about multi-layered gaskets, but steel gaskets, I drop some knowledge that I know of them. But what I found out when ordering parts and searching for parts and doing parts research on this vehicle was that these H22s actually use a multi-layer steel gasket from the factory, and I didn't know that. I thought that was an aftermarket thing. I thought that's why all these Hondas use it, just because they are better, but I guess it makes sense now. So I learned, that's the new thing I learned on this job, so that was cool. And so here we got, I should say, yeah, disregard anything I say about the multi-layered gasket, because I talk as if it isn't factory, but it is factory on this. But yeah, so that's pointing straight up. We're good to go. Moving on. And now for this next part, we're going to be cracking the rocker arms loose. You don't necessarily have to crack these, like, you don't have to back them all the way off. You just got to crack them all loose. And I'm just showing you right here where they all are inside the cylinder head. And it's a 10 millimeter, by the way, so 10 millimeter. Just crack them all loose. Once they're all loose, then you can come here and start taking the cam cover off. They're not cam caps. They're called cam covers, technically, if you want to be a dick about it, I guess. I don't know. They're all the same to me. Call it what you will. But so here I'm just finishing up loosening the rocker arms. Now, some of these rocker arms I turned a little bit more than others, and that's just simply because some of them felt like still a little too tight for me, for my liking. So some I backed off a little more than others. Like I said, it's not a really big deal. When you go to the install, just make sure you check your valve clearance between your cam lobes and your rocker arms. And then here, there's no particular order you got to take the cam cover off. I like to always start, inside out. For this, just because that's just how I've always done it, I guess. I don't know, other people might have other ways of doing it. That's just how I've always done it on these cam covers, cam caps, whatever you want to call them. And I kind of made a couple mistakes here and there. Like, I should have taken the distributor out first, but I wasn't really thinking about that, so that's why I'm taking it out here now, is because it just makes it easier. The other thing is I didn't loosen up some of the bolts before cracking all the other bolts loose. Just kind of little stuff like that, but you'll be fine. Just crack all these off, and then we can go on to removing the camshafts to get to the head bolts. It's also good to note here, what I like to do is clean stuff up, but also mark my exhaust and intake side. Now, these caps are, I guess, jointed together. They're not like separate caps like some other vehicles are, but it's still, I mean, I don't know, less room for error. I try to make everything as idiot proof as possible, because I'm not the brightest person in the world, and I definitely make my mistakes, and this is just how I avoid mistakes. Okay, so here is the head bolts. They're going to be, at least with these head bolts, they were a 14 millimeter 12 point. So I think that's pretty common. I think that's what they all are. So you're gonna need a 14 millimeter 12 point. And also, I forgot I had a non-flex head ratchet, but I'm using a flex head. I don't recommend it. And as you can see, I don't have an actual breaker bar, so I made something work. And then my dumbass hit the camera. So yeah, it's like this for a little bit, but I catch it and I switch it back, so don't worry there. But anyways, just gonna fast forward through all this, because in this next clip I'm gonna slow it down and I'm gonna show you guys exactly which order you're gonna have to do it, because there is a specific order you have to do this in. It's from the outside and you cross it till you get to the inside, and to prevent warpage, only do about a third of a turn per side until the head bolts are completely loose. It's free of torque, and then you can hit it with an impact like I do here, and then you're totally fine. But that's the only real important thing, is to make sure you only turn these a third of a turn until they're fully loose. And then once there's no torque on them, you can hit them with an impact. It's not going to make a big deal. There's no torque holding it, so just zip them out, get the job done faster. But that's how you take the head off here. And now I'm fighting to get the head off. Now, I did forget to disconnect a couple things. That's kind of going to happen too. In the nature of working on cars, you're going to either forget stuff or something you didn't see, and it's like, oh crap, it's binding up on that. Luckily for me, it was just a bolt that held the wiring harness to the head, but right about here I get the head completely off and then move it over to the bench. But yep, now you can watch me struggle. That's all I wanted to show you. Alrighty, I really apologize about the fan if there's any wind noises going on, but it's really hot. You don't understand. Let me zoom in here. Let's see what we got here on the head. So there's one thing that I noticed. Where is it? It's right here, right there. You can see that dip. That is actually fingernail deep, so that's not good at all. I'll let them know, but that's concerning. The rest of it looks good. It looks like they scuffed a couple other spots right there. So That's nice too. So this is just my first thoughts of taking off the head. I've noticed those little scuffs. It wasn't me. I didn't slide the head around. Even I'm sure it looked like it, but I was lifting it and then dropping it. I wasn't like scooting it on the fucking block, because that's how that shit happens typically. But I'll inspect that in a little bit. I want to look at the head, see. I just wanted to check the block first, but I'm gonna check for warpage. I got a straight edge over there. I have a smaller one. I'll be able to use that. The head, this is what I've noticed upon first inspection here. So here's what we got going on. Bam. I think that's the problem. I think so, because once it's uneven. They put it on incorrectly, and that's probably what happened. They slid it around. That's how that got that cut in the block, and sliding around like that caused this to break open, creating a leak still. So good job, Midas. You guys are a piece of work. Alrighty, so we have it here. I have it cleaned up, kind of. Okay, so first off, what I want to show you guys is how to pretty much check for warpage. What you'll need is a straight edge. Now, size does matter in this case, but unfortunately, I only have the biggest freaking one you can get, because I was doing a really big project and needed it, but it works. Now, there's two ways to test this. First way is with light. You take your flashlight. Let me bring you guys, actually, I'll show you guys on this side. Just take your flashlight, and it shouldn't be shining through at all on the bottom, which it doesn't. I've already tested it. And I do that in 3 points. So I do the first one up here, do this one right in the center, and do the last one at the edge. And then what I do, or what I first do, is I do it with a filler gauge. The smallest size filler gauge you got, it should not go underneath at all. Like, it should just like touch like that all the way down, all 3 points. And then after the filler gauge, I do it with the light just to make sure, because it's easier to see light in the crack, and sometimes your filler gauge doesn't go low enough if there's like a thousandth of an inch off. And then I plugged up the spark plug holes, poured water in each of these cylinders, took a little compressed air, blowed through it, see if there's any bubbles on each side, the intake and exhaust side. No air, so the valves are good. Here's the issue I found. Right here at the gasket, this sits on this side, I believe. So what was happening when they put it on, they messed it up somehow and scuffed it. That's why there's the scuff marks on the block too, is they probably like slid it and it grabbed, pulled the material up, and this is why we don't use multi-layer steel gaskets, like I said. So I can confirm now this is the cause of failure. So when you're compressing the motor or the head to the block with the head bolts and everything like that, it's compressing this metal down, but it's not sealing all the way because it's all jacked up and it's metal. So it can't shape and form like the graphite material head gaskets or whatever that material is, where it can be meshed and shaped with the block and the head. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to call them and tell them that the bad news, but at least we got the problem fixed. They don't need a new head, and they don't need to take this head to the machine shop. It's good. So we can use the head, we can reuse all the parts and everything like that. So big win there. So they're gonna like to hear that. Now this is a shorter video that I normally post. I probably look like a mess right now. I wanted to get this done, and I'm glad to have it done now, because now I can call them and we can move forward with the next plan. But this is where we're at. We're gonna have to get a new head gasket set, a few more seals, oil orifice valve, oil ring. There's a couple other things I made note of here that, have exhaust gasket too, because I don't know if I showed you guys here. Let me see if camera's lined up, checking to make sure the cameras can see it. But yeah, up here you can see these carbon marks. That means the exhaust was leaking. I don't know if it's included. It probably is included in the head gasket set, but I'll let them know just in case. And with that, that's how you pretty much take off the head on an H22. It's pretty simple. Like I said, on the other side, there's an oil orifice. That's a little thing a lot of people overlook. And then the torque sequence, that's the other big thing on this. Third of a turn until they're all fully loose, and then you can hit them all with an impact. When bolts are fully loose, that means there's no longer any torque. There's nothing holding that in. It's free. So you're totally okay to zip it off with an impact, you'll be fine. And of course, if you found this video helpful or enjoyed the content, subscribe to the channel and then like this video. Of course, comment below what you guys think for my next designs. I'm gonna pay somebody to do the artwork. I'm not gonna do it myself this time. I'm gonna do it legit. But I want to start making some really cool stuff again. And with that, I'll see you guys all in the next video. Have a great week, and don't forget to enjoy the little things in life. Find joy in whatever you do during the day. It takes 3 seconds to make you smile, so hold on to those 3 seconds and have a good week. Bye-bye.